G'day, and welcome to the AOS Coach sneak peek into the points for Season 1 of the 2022 Generals Handbook. In this video, I am going to highlight the latest points for match play, and with an industrial amount of armies to cover, I'm going to attempt to showcase the points where they've increased or decreased. Games Workshop did send me this book in advance, however, I'm under no obligation to do this video. If you play Forge World models like the Colossal Squig, the Mongol, the Rogue Idol, for example, unfortunately you're not going to find those points in this book, and you'll need to wait for the Monstrous Arcanum to be updated. In addition to calling out the points, I've identified a Sylvaneth unit that has been retired, as well as a new unannounced Lumineth Realm-Lords hero that I'm sure we're going to hear about pretty soon. If you're playing a faction that has had a book in 3rd edition like Nurgle, Daughters of Cain, Nighthaunt, Iden the Deepkin, or the Fireslayers, for example, you will see little movement in the points. However, it's still important to check it out because some of them have had corrections and there might have been a slight increase or decrease in points. If you want to know more about what's in the Gallat Battle Pack, like the battalions, the battle plans, the special rules, you can find other videos on this channel to take you through those other elements of the General's Handbook. Today, we're just going to focus on points, so let's get into it. Beasts of Chaos saw a decrease across the board. The Wildfire Taurus dropped 40 points, Chaos Gargant, Chimera, and the Endless Spell, the Ravening Direflock, dropped 20 points. Your Doom Blast and the Jabberslith dropped 15 points. Your Bestigor and your Ungor Raiders dropped 10 points. Your Centaurs, your Doom Bulls, your Gore, and your Ungor dropped 5 points, while everything else remains the same. Blades of Khorne saw a decrease across the army. You had a 15-point discount on the Wrath Axe. You had a 10-point discount on the Bleeding Icon, as well as the Herald of Khorne on the Blood Throne, the Hexgorgeous Skulls, the Skull Cannon, and the Slaughter Priest. You had a 5-point discount on the Aspiring Deathbringer, Bloodletters, the Bloodmaster Herald of Khorne, Bloodstoker, Exalted Deathbringer, your Mighty Skull Crushers, your Underworld's Warband, the Riptooth, as well as the Skullmaster Herald of Khorne and Valkyr the Bloody. Everything else has remained unchanged. Disciples of Tzeentch saw both a point increase and decreases across the board. You had a 50-point reduction on the Eyes of the Nine Underworld's Warband. You had a 35-point reduction on the Burning Sigil, a 30-point discount on the Demonic Simulacrum, or whatever it is, the 20-point discount on the Gaunt Summoner, as well as the Lord of Change, your Zangor Enlightened on disc, and your Zangor Skyfires. You also had a 15-point reduction on the Tome of Eyes, a 10-point reduction on the Exalted Flamer and the Changeling, and then a 5-point reduction on the Burning Chariot, the Curseling, the Magister, and the Magister on disc. However, it's not all points decreases across the board. You did get a few increases, so a 5-point increase on the Changecaster. You also saw a 5-point increase on the Carrick Acolytes. You had a 10-point increase on the Blue Horrors, the Brimstone Horrors, the Fate Master, and the Ogoroid Thermitage. And you had a 15-point increase on the Flamers of Tzeentch, the Flux Master, and the Tzeentch Chaos Spawn. And finally, you had a 25-point increase on the Blue Scribe. Other than that, everything else remains the same. Hedonites of Slaanesh saw a decrease across the board, which would probably surprise none of you. There was a 20-point discount on the Dreadful Visage, as well as the Keeper of Secrets, the Mesmerizing Mirror on Sigvold, as well as the Wheels of Excruciation. You had a 15-point discount on the Lord of Pain, Shalaxi, the Shard Speaker, as well as Celeste. You had a 10-point discount on the Contorted Epitome, the Demonettes, the Infernal Raptress, and the Vice Leader Herald, as well as a 5-point discount on the Bladebringer on Seeker Chariot, Exalted Chariot, Fiends of Slaanesh, Glutos, the Hellflayer, the Seeker Chariots, the Dread Pageant, and the Mask. Other than that, everything else remains the same. Now, when it comes to Maggotkin of Nurgle, good news, nothing changed. So nothing went up, nothing went down. It is as it is in the Battle Tome. Skaven saw an industrial amount of changes when it came to points, both going up and going down. But at the time of recording, I don't have the new battle tomes in my hand, so I can't give you any context on why there were some big swings. So keep an eye on the channel because I will preview the new tome in the near future. But you will notice that there's some big swings, right? The Vermin Lords are all up around the 400 point mark, so I can only imagine that their War Scroll has been rewritten, and there's some nice boosts there for the Vermin Lords. Your Plague Priest on Furnace also went up 100 points, and there's points going up and down here and there. But and even your Clan Rats actually went down from 130 to 100, but we don't quite know the context yet. What did you gain? What did you lose? Let's have a look at the new battle tome when we get it. The Slaves to Darkness saw no changes, which I'm sure has to do with the upcoming battle tome that we can expect at the end of the year. But when it comes to all of your models, I did not notice a single change for Slaves, so possibly good news for you. Nothing that really changes. Flesh Eater Court saw 3 endless spells go down, as well as the Crypt Haunter Courtier. So the Crypt Haunter Courtier dropped 5 points. The Corpse Mare Stampede reduced by 30 points. Your Chalice went down 20 points, and your Barricade dropped down 15 points. Other than that, everything else remained the same. Both your Horrors, your Flayers, your Heroes, they all stayed the same. Now, Nighthaunt is mostly the same as it was for its latest battle tome. However, Grimghast Reapers did gain a point decrease by 5 points, but everything else for Nighthaunt has remained the same. Ossiarch Bonereapers has gained a bone tax refund, and a whole bunch of their models has gone down in points. A 35-point discount on the Bone Tithe Shrieker, as well as the Soul Stealer Carrion. A 25-point discount on the Soul Mason, a 20-point discount on Arcan the Black and the Bone Shaper, 15-point discount on the Immortus Guard, as well as the Liege Cavalos. There's a 5-point discount on both versions of your Morghast, both your Archai and your Harbingers. You've also got a discount on your Necropolis Stalkers and the Nightmare Predator. Other than that, everything else remains the same. Soulblight Gravelords has mostly stayed the same, but there are a few changes. Your Underworld's Warband, that new one, has gone up 50 points. Your Death Rattle Skeletons have gone down 5 points. Your Deadwalker Zombies have gone up 5 points. And Torgalus has gone up 15 points. Other than that, everything else remains the same. Your Gloomspite Gitz has seen a few points changes. Your Arachna Cauldron Endless Spell has gone up 10 points. Mork's Mighty Mushroom has gone down 60 points, which is massive. It was already overpriced as it was. The Malevolent Moon dropped 20 points. The Scuttle Tide dropped 15 points. And then the Arachnarok Web Spinner Shaman has gone down 5 points. Everything else in Gloomspite Gitz has stayed the same. Your Ogor Mawtribes has seen 2 units drop down in their points, both being from the Thunder Tusk variety. Your Frostlord on Thunder Tusk has dropped by 15 points, and your Thunder Tusk Beast Riders have gone down 10 points. Other than that, everything else when it comes to both versions, your Dad Bods and your Beast Riding, they're all stayed the same. Orruk Warclans saw no changes to either the Cruel Boys, the Iron Jaws, the Bone Splitters, or Kragnos. Everything is the same as it was. If you're a stomper across the mortal realms, the Sons of Behemat have stayed the same, and they are no different. None of the points have changed, both either of the megas or the smalls. Cities of Sigmar saw a heap of units both increase and decrease in points. However, they've mostly been somewhere between 5 points and 15 points. Coming up at the discounts, you got a 15-point discount on the Battle Mage on foot, as well as your Charybdis. You got a 10-point discount on the Steam Tank with Commander. You also got a 5-point discount on Bleak Swords, Drakespawn Chariots, Drakespawn Knights, your Dread Spears, your Eternal Guard, your Free Guild Crossbowmen, your Free Guild Handgunners, your Hellstorm Rocket Battery, your Iron Breakers, the Luminarch of Hysh with the Battle Mage on top, your Rune Lord, your Sorceress, your War Hydra, and Warden Kings all gained a 5-point discount. You did also see some points increase, like your Dark Riders, your Free Guild Outriders, your Free Guild Pistoliers, your Gyrocopters, and the Scourge Runner Chariots all went up 5 points. The non-hero version of the Luminarch went up 10 points, and your non-hero version of the Hurricanum went up 15 points. Other than that, everything else stayed the same. The Daughters of Khaine didn't change too much from their latest book. However, the High Gladiatrix has reverted back to a price that you might remember in the Arenas of Shade. So I think when I did the preview video, it was around 100 to 110 points in Arena of Shades. The Battle Tome brought it to 90 points. We're now back to around 110 points. So the High Gladiatrix has returned with a 20-point increase. Other than that, everything else remains the same for Doc. Fyreslayers saw all three of their invocations go down in points. The Molten Infernoth went down 30 points, the Runic Firewall went down 15, and your Flame Spitter went down 5 points. Other than that, everything else stays the same. Idoneth Deepkin saw no point changes, and they are as they were listed in their Battle Tome. Kharadron Overlords saw 2 changes, and they were both 10-point decreases. One in the Etheric Navigator, the other being in the Arcanaut Company. Other than those 2, everything else stays the same for KO. Lumineth Realm-Lords saw some points changes, as well as a new unannounced unit, the Sonari Enlightener, and I'm told that we're going to hear more about it soon. There is no War Scroll in this book, so we don't quite know what the Enlightener does, but we do know that it's 160 points. When we talk about the points changes of the existing units, we did see a 35-point reduction on the Rune of Petrification, as well as the Sonari Cathalar went down 35 points. You also saw a 10-point decrease on the Stone Mage, as well as the Sanctum Endless Spell. You did, however, see a point increase for both the Lightcaller Underworld's Warband, as well as the Ballista. They both went up in points. Other than that, everything else stayed the same. Now, Seraphon did see a few point shifts, but nothing too extreme. You saw a 10-point discount on the Astrolith Bearer. You saw a 5-point increase on your Steggies. You saw a 10-point increase on your Skink Priest, as well as your Razordon Hunting Pack. Other than that, everything else stays the same for Seraphon. Stormcast Eternals are mostly unchanged despite the insane amount of War Scrolls in this book. There were some changes though. All 3 Endless Spells went down in points. Your Vortex went down 20 points. The Dias went down 15 points. And Comet went down 10 points. It's not all discounts for Stormcast. The Stormdrake Chariot went up 5 points. But other than that, everything else stays the same. Sylvaneth has seen a heap of points movements in line with their new Battle Tome, as well as a removal of one of the heroes that would be quite popular in the old book. Your Branch Wraith is no longer in the Battle Tome, and it's unavailable for selection in match play. So RIP the original Drycha. Your Branch Witch is still there, it's just the Branch Wraith. Otherwise, as you can see on the screen, there is a heap of points movements from Alariel going up 100 points, your Kurnoth Hunters all going up to 250 points for the combat variety, as well as your bows have gone up to 230. Now, at the time of recording, much like what I said on Skaven, I don't have the Battle Tome in my hand, so I can't provide any context of what's created these points increases. However, as I mentioned, keep an eye on the channel. I will preview the new tomes in the near future. And finally, we have the Universal Endless Spells, Kronspine, Kragnos, and Gotrek. Gotrek, Kragnos, and the Kronspine Incarnate have all remained the same. You have seen a point increase for the Soulscream Bridge, which has gone up 10 points, as well as the Gnashing Jaws have gone up 5 points. There were a few Endless Spells that received a discount, the Geminids being the largest one. That the Geminids went down 40 points. Your Quicksilver Swords went down 35 points. Aether Void Pendulum, Horrorghast, and Lachlan the Soul Seeker have all gone down 25 points. Shards went down 20 points. The Malevolent Maelstrom and the Soul Snare Shackles have gone down 15 points. The Suffocating Grave Tide went down 10 points. And then Chronomatic Cogs went down 5 points. Other than that, everything remained the same. We've seen points both increase and decrease for the upcoming season, but remember that points are only one element when it comes to constructing a powerful list. The biggest movements we've found is going to be in the endless spells, and you probably noticed in the first year of the 3rd edition, you saw a big drop-off of armies taking endless spells. So I wonder, with some very heavy concessions to endless spells, will we see their return into lists? My last piece of advice to you is to look at the incentive structure from the Gallat Battle Pack, and just don't try to transfer your list from the old Generals Handbook to the new one, because you may find that you're missing out on some of the good stuff that's in the new battle pack and not taking advantage of it. But I'd love to hear from you and start thinking about, is there any units that you have seen a points decrease that you now think is worth putting on the table? Or has there been some units that have gone up in points that now make it hard to include? Let me know in the comment section what you think about the points changes and how it may have influenced your list. Thanks for sticking around until the end. I hope you found that video interesting and you walked away with a few new ideas. If you did, I would appreciate it if you hit like on the video, as well as left me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. The conversation will continue over on Discord, so link is down below in the episode description if you want to join the Discord and continue the Age of Sigmar conversation. I want to give a massive shout out as well to these absolute bloody legends, these champions who have continued to support me through Patreon or YouTube members. That is going directly into supporting the maintenance and the growth of this channel. So thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated. And until next time, roll more 6s.